Okay, it's 3 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. If you have your cell phones, please mute or turn them off. Becky, will you do the roll call, please?
Tom Wilson.
Here.
Dean Friel.
Here.
Jack Scrogstead.
Here.
Chris Robertson.
Here.
Mike Pearson.
Okay, department heads, would you have anything for us today?
Good afternoon. Just a quick little statement, as some of you heard earlier today at other committee meetings, just wanting to address the issue of battery energy storage in Lee County. We are currently under moratorium for standalone battery energy storage projects. That means if a project came in today and wanted to petition for a 600 megawatt battery storage project, they would not be able to do so. However, because of the way the state has written the wind and solar siting standards, they do include battery storage as an accessory use to a wind and solar project. So for example, with Stewart Creek, that is pending, battery storage is an aspect of their project, and it is allowed under the new state siting standards. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Alice? Jack?
That was, I was just going to comment, that was something as I was listening to that come up and I'm like, wait a minute, we have this, but she was able to let me know that standalone is the moratorium rather than, and then of course, you look at the state, they dictate the rules, so
Yeah,
we got to go.
we don't have much of a choice.
No, not at all. Nope. It's like why we're here. Why are we
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Just let the state handle. Anyways, sorry.
No, thank you. Anybody else have anything else for Alice? No, thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes for the last meeting. If there's no changes or corrections, minutes from the February 13, 2024 Facility Maintenance Committee meeting will stand as presented. Maintenance Department report. Jeff, do you have anything that you'd like to report to the committee?
Yeah, I got a couple just updates maybe on some of the projects that are going on. So State's Attorney Carpet, we're getting that underway. We've got 5, we're working on our 6th room right now. So we're about halfway done with that. So slow but sure getting that done. The zoning department is getting painted. Currently, it's actually just about done. We have been working on some ideas to clean the railing here at the old courthouse. If you go down the steps, at the bottom on the first floor on the right-hand side as you're going down the stairs, look at that post as it's facing the north. We've not completely cleaned it, but we did a quick cleaning job with some chemical we found that seems to be wiping that down. It's actually brass and not cast iron. So it's, yeah.
It's all anodized.
Yeah, so it's, I think maybe we found our chemical to use on that, and it seems like it's really hitting it, and it's not taking 4 hours to do the little bit that we did. So we're going to keep plugging away on that, see how much of that we can get done. So also, we've been having the housekeeper here at the old courthouse wiping down doors and some of the furniture and woodwork around here with lemon oil. So we've been working on that as time allows a little bit. Some of the bigger projects, the elevator here at the old courthouse, they showed up, Kone showed up today, looked at it and identified that they could not get the crane here until the last week of this month. So there was no sense in getting started on that today. So they backed us up till basically next week, next Monday. They'll be here and shut the elevator down next Monday. So that gets us through the committee week anyways. So that's a little helpful. We'll still be down there next week for board meeting. But
Yeah, and I think we're gonna move the board meeting to the other court or over to Kevin's room, correct? Yeah, so we might as well make provisions for that. make sure the crane can show up before we make provisions for that. But once they show up, we might as well just bite the bullet and make the meeting for over there.
Becky, will we have to, once we post the agenda, have that on there? So that's gonna have to be done by Friday. I'm sorry, Tuesday. So if they show up on Monday, then we can go ahead and make sure everything's set up over there. So I'm gonna connect with Kevin Lally, and then we'll be prepared on an IT standpoint as well. The only thing I have a question on is,
We're gonna have to have a portable TV and
right,
video.
right.
But we are gonna have to make provisions for that, or make provisions to get people up and down the stairs here. But I think it'd be best if we did it somewhere over there, if we could.
Now, the state's attorney is using
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Liley's area as we're doing the open area in the state's attorney's area, but that should be
But
Monday,
they should be
Tuesday,
done.
Wednesday,
Yeah,
if all goes well.
yeah. It's,
So-
yeah.
So,
because-
is there still a thought process on, well, our concern too is making sure that not just, all the members of the public, but the board members can get up as well. So,
My only other suggestion would be to talk to Chairman Olson and ask about having the meeting down at the county garage in Amboy. No, that'd be a really great time to do that.
it'd be interesting.
And we'd have plenty of room for the public and everything down there as well. So,
We've discussed a handful of options and obviously the ones that we think are most, highest, accessibility would then be the, EOC and or, if that doesn't work, having it again, just like we were going to do for committee week this week, where the boardrooms, where everything will happen. If for some reason for compliance, ADA compliance issue, someone can't get up the stairs, we have the meeting room downstairs in front of, at the assessment office, the conference room there, that could be set up with a TV and laptop. So
very good.
one way or the other,
We'll figure it
we'll
out.
figure it out.
And yeah, Jeff, hopefully there won't be any snafu. I think the way I was talking to Ben, and I think it's gonna go pretty well, so.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's gonna make it work, so.
Yep. The Allied project, we're working on the courtroom, that build out. Also, things have slowed down a little bit with Allied, just where we're at right now. So we're waiting on a little concrete, moving, condensing unit, out in the judge's parking area. And then, just kind of waiting for equipment and low voltage guys have been around, working on stuff. So, it's still moving, but just a little slow at the moment. So, the only other thing is I just wanted to kind of run this by you. The work request and preventative maintenance system that we've got up and running. We did 697 preventative maintenance tasks, if you will, in the last 3 months. We had, so far in the last 3 months, we had 67 actual work requests come through. So not a great deal of work requests, but just the same. That's, so to me, what to be paying attention on those numbers are going to be, are we keeping up with our preventative maintenance stuff so that we're not having the work requests come through? We're looking at 91% of our work is being done as preventative maintenance right now. So that's a pretty good spot. I
Yeah.
think, to be.
As for the ease of the work order request, I know change is hard for a lot of people. What kind of reception or what kind of feedback are you getting from different departments and stuff like that, having to use this rather than just calling you up and doing it that way? Have you heard or got any?
I'd say for the most part, folks are kind of getting on board. Like I say, when I sent it out and kind of officially, it's on now. I had a few people suggest that they were glad to see something like this come through for the maintenance and facilities. I'd suggest there's still a little bit of resistance to it just based on the number of work requests we've got there.
I get it
but-
too, sometimes, but you have to maybe explain to them too that it's documented too. And that way, they can't say, "Oh, I called you 5 weeks ago,
Right.
and left you a message, you never called me back." Well, here they've got a document that they can, now they can fall back on you and say,
Yeah.
hey, you're not doing it because of this, that, or the other thing. So
Yep.
it's more of a documentation, to cover you
Yep.
and your employees, and whatnot. So yes, I think it's a great idea, but again, it's going to take a while to,
Yeah.
some people are just, I was one of them. Nobody likes change, but sometimes change is better depending on what it is, of course.
It's more checks and balances than anything, and it gives us the ability to plan things, which in the past, we've been very reactive, and we don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. And Jeff, when Jeff first got hired, that was one of the biggest things, is to make sure we had a system in place that would work to where we could put numbers on it. The committee is going to make the decisions on what projects we're doing. And then that gives him, there's a layer between Jeff and the person that's asking for the work order. And then we itemize them in priority. And then we take them to finance and we say, well, we want to do this one, this one, this one. And then, but finance and the full board still has to approve it. So we're not the ultimate decision makers. It's the board as a whole. So what he's doing, I think, is going to be great. And it's just going to take some time. And, people don't like change, but checks and balances are really good.
Well, and I'll give kudos to the sheriff's department out there. They've been getting the work requests in, and they've kind of been, so my approach is, if you try and force it on somebody, they're going to fight you back hard, right? So Chris has been doing a really good job out there, the maintenance guy, in that he will say, they'll mention something to him and he'll say, great, if you'll write up the work request, I'm on my way to go do it. But
Yeah.
please make sure you write up the work request.
Yeah.
And Ryan and Derek have been,
And the other
Good
thing
at
it
doing
does
that.
for us too, guys, is like where Jeff came from and the world he came from, is it helps us itemize things more. So at the end of the year, we know where we spend our money and which department, which building, how much snow removal we had. In the past, we've just guessed at snow removal. We've never had 3 years of documentation, which you can't start documentation until you start sometimes. So I think it's really beneficial for the properties committee if we have all this information. And you're doing a great job of it. So,
well, we're not including snow removal this year.
well, I
'cause
know,
we're-
well,
yeah.
I know, I get it. Well, yeah, that's not going to count.
That's skewing things.
So a couple questions for you. Update on the treasurer's office.
Treasurer's
I've-
office is essentially done. I've got blinds on
Okay.
order that they wanted to get new blinds on
Okay.
that. Otherwise, and we've got a few incidentals to do, but nothing that's holding them up.
Good,
Just
so they're back
real
in and they're at
detail.
least
Yeah.
operational. and-
Absolutely, 100%
Good,
operational.
that's
Yep.
fantastic. That's one of the projects that we did in-house and organized the trades and basically generated ourselves, and Jeff and the guys did a great job. So that's another good department to have done and out of the way.
Yep.
So, one of the other things is, with Allied, is we met this morning on the courthouse, the grand jury courthouse. We're trying to make room for the judges, 2 judges and a receptionist and a library, and then the courtroom, obviously. But we met on that. We're gonna get a layout from Doug on Friday or Monday. And then we'll take that to Jackie or Judge Ackert and get her approval on it. So with that being said, Judge Ackert and Bob and Jim and Jeff and myself and Jeremy met with Judge Ackert and Charlie. They got the grant for the technology grant. I think they got 1.05 million out of a $1.1 million ask. So we got $1.05 million for the technology grant to upgrade all the courtrooms over there with for all the lawyer tables to have monitors. The judges will have monitors. There'll be TVs in the courtroom. There'll be cameras in the courtroom. That money has to be spent by June 1st. So there's a company called Nomad. Is that correct? Nomad that is coming in. They're going to be working on top of us on the Allied project, but they're going to be doing a lot of Category 6 or Category 6A wiring for their badge access, the cameras, all the technology. They're going to be doing core drilling in the courtrooms. So we're trying to get all these projects done by June 1st. And we'd also, we'd like to have our HVAC project wrapped up at the same time so we can get all these contractors out of the courts building. So that's kind of exciting for the county. That courtroom, that was one of the key elements was the technology that we didn't have money in the budget for through ARPA. And now she's got the money in there for the grand jury room to have the TVs, the technology, the cameras and all that stuff. So it was a really neat win-win for the county. We started that process last Thursday or something? So anyway, what else was I going to ask you? Well, we're doing yeah, that's pretty much what we've got going on, correct? Has there been any more work requests from any other departments for anything that you've seen come in as far as plaster work, stuff around? I mean,
No, not major things, just little incidentals.
what about this down below? Did Executive Plastering look at that front facade and
Actually, well, just as a quick mention, we
Yes.
did get that front area painted up.
okay,
The ceiling and all that at the base of the stairs. And the
did it
first
turn out
floor there.
nice?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That looks really nice. In that front vestibule, though, on the north entrance there, actually, I had Midwest Painting go in there and look at it, and we scraped the plaster off of just one stone
Yep.
essentially, and we put primer on there
Cal coating?
and then Cal coat over the top of that. It's been sticking so far. It's
Okay,
only been a little while,
okay,
but it seems solid. It's not loose. They may be onto something.
good,
So I want to just let it sit and
for sure.
just kind of waiting for the rainy season to come through and see what happens
Yeah.
to it, you know?
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thanks for that report, Jeff. Work order requests. Request submitted for discussions, none. There's none for final budget numbers. Is any of the requests that you've got coming in over $2,500 that we need to look at that are, everything's just little
No.
stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Request ready for approval, there is none. Unfinished business, Allied Facility Department update. So that's, with that meeting this morning, we were talking about the courts, the grand jury courtroom. I believe in the next week to 10 days, they're going to be pouring the pads for all of the condensing units in between the old LEC and the courts, the new courts building. We've seen a map of where they're putting them. They're going to be out of the way of our Sally port that'll eventually go back in the back corner of that. And they're not putting anything back in our way. And we're actually gaining space along there because I think there's 4 units now and we're going to 3. Is that correct? But those pads will be put in, and then we're just really waiting for the manufacturers to get the units here, and we're hoping to have them in the next 5 to 6 weeks is what I would guess. We went in there. We went in there and took all the measurements for the boiler room. We gutted all the old condensing piping and everything out of there in the middle of winter, which ended up being the middle of summer. So it is a little warm over there. And it's just the way it works. Whenever you take something out, it's like you just know you're going to get it. Well, at nighttime, what we've been doing is since we don't have any air conditioning over there, all we've got is our boiler heat. And then at nighttime, we're actually sucking in as much cold air as possible to cool the building down because we have no way of doing it during the day. So if they try to run air handlers during the day, they're going to pick up the heat from the roof and they're going to pull in warm air. So that's kind of a problem right now. We're hopefully it'll cool down for the next 2 months. But those units, like I said, those units hopefully will be coming here soon. And then the other boiler room project will be started here shortly as well. So they've been kind of incognito, but they did a lot of work up front. They got all the measuring done, all the stuff being manufactured. So once that stuff starts showing up, the project's going to go pretty quick. So new business, there's no items under new business. Does anybody have any new business to discuss? Jeremy, you have anything? No? No request for executive session. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody have anything as far as the properties committee goes? Is any questions as to what we're doing and which direction we're going currently?
I just want to say that the treasurer's office looks really nice. The carpet and the colors and everything, and it's really come in shape. It looks really
Good. That's good.
So
We keep them happy. That's good. So,
they hold your money.
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, hopefully we can do more of those projects. And again, we have monies coming down next year that in the budget that is going to allow us to, we're going to use a fair chunk of our carpeting budget for this year at the state's attorney's office. But I think that we should have enough money left over to do another decent sized carpeting job, nothing major, but a good sized carpeting job. So we need to start figuring out where that might be and go through and categorize spots that really might need it sooner or quicker than later. And then after this year, we will go from 35,000 and we're going to be up to 75,000 next year. And the 75,000 next year is going to allow us to start doing courtrooms because we'll have the air conditioning system basically up and running. Nothing saying that something can't go wrong above the ceilings, but we'll be able to start going through the new courts building. And then we're hoping within 3 to 5 years, we could get everything carpeted and done. Because this room that we're sitting in now is going to have to be taken a look at as well. So, but the carpeting thing is just an ongoing thing. And with Jeff, one of the things is what's nice about it is once we do start putting new carpeting, he's got the knowledge of how to take care of it and how to keep it clean. And we're doing a really good job of that. And that's where we need to keep going. And then I believe, do we have a different line item, Jeremy, in our budget? I don't remember for carpet cleaning.
I don't think it's necessarily
Not
under
this year?
carpet cleaning, but
I think that might be a next year's thing.
there's a discretionary fund obviously in there that,
Well, the discretionary fund is something else we're going to talk about at the board level that we need to have the discretionary fund put back in. We can't spend the money anyway, but we need to be able to start facilitating some things and not handcuffing our maintenance group. So, okay, anybody got anything else? Nobody? Is there a motion to adjourn? Dean? Okay, we got a first and a second. Do we have a Chris, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking. Oh, this is the computer. Sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
You want to keep going, Mike?
No. I said aye to yes. It's that delay.
Time delay. That was perfect timing.